everyone, welcome back to In the Alley. My name is Cody and glad you guys are back for another video. We have one more preview to do for week 11. We got 3 games on tap for us for our Saturday slate. So without further ado, let's dive into those 3 games. Alright, so let's start this out, and we're just going kind of down how the schedule has it on the Indoor Football League website, but we're going to start with an 8:05 p.m. Central Time kickoff. As always, on the Indoor Football League network, we have the 1-7 Northern Arizona Wranglers going on the road to take on the San Diego Strike Force. Strike Force 3-1 at home, Northern Arizona 0-4 on the road. Is something going to give? Well, let's find out. Let's take a look at our season leaders. Ramon Atkins leading for the Wranglers, 28 of 51, 322 yards, 7 touchdowns, no interceptions. Nate Davis, 96 of 158, 968 yards, 18 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. Now, caveat to this, I believe they are missing a game on the Indoor Football League website when it comes to updating their stats. San Diego has played 8 games. They only have the stats up to 7 games. So stats are a little skewed when it comes to that. Step your game up. David Elder, 19 carries, 107 yards, 1 touchdown. Rudy Johnson, your leading rusher for the Strike Force, 36 carries, 59 yards, 4 touchdowns. You know that's not right when he's only got 59 yards. He was running like a beast last week. So, Deshaun Stoudemire, 33 catches, 410 yards, 6 touchdowns. Johnson, your leading receiver, 22 catches, 229 yards, 3 touchdowns. And we'll talk a little bit with the 25-man roster and a little after that. We'll see if Nate Davis is healthy for this game. So, that's spoiler alert. But moving on to the injury report, because he's not on it, so we'll see if he does get the start. For Northern Arizona, 2 names are added. Devin Thomas, I believe, makes his second trip back to the short-term injured reserve list, and Devaya Gabor is also added for the Wranglers. For San Diego, the only addition has been Jalen Joyner, so maybe a little bit of health coming for San Diego. They did release Tycorian Brown off of the short-term injured reserve list, so it does free it up a little bit of space. Taking a look at our game odds, we have an over-under of 81.5, and it's minus 6.5 in favor of San Diego at home. Plus 180 to Northern Arizona on the road if you want to take the road dog, or minus 218 if you want the Strike Force at home. It's kind of a long shot odds. You're not going to make a lot of money. We are at the Front Wave Arena in not San Diego, my goodness. Front Wave Arena in Oceanside, California. Tripped myself up there. And our head-to-head for these 2 teams, 4-3 in favor of the Wranglers. But just a couple weeks ago, about 3 weeks ago, these 2 teams met. San Diego got the victory, 40-29. But it's a little different here when it comes to the roster and everything like that. Like just a couple weeks ago, it was Caleb Lowe getting the start. And, well, he got knocked out of the game. They had to bring in C.J. Fowler, and there's a whole issue with that. Now Ramon Atkins is in. So it's kind of a different team just a couple weeks in, for Northern Arizona. So our brains turn into mush. Anyway, let's go take a look at our 25-man roster, our bet and prediction. We've got 2 other previews after this. All right, let's take a look at our 25-man rosters as they pop up over my face, starting with the away side as we do. Caleb Lowe and Ramon Atkins are your quarterbacks for the Northern Arizona Wranglers. Ramon Atkins will most likely get the start, with Lowe being the backup. I've seen Marvin Kinsey a couple of times, but it's kind of been taken over. Nolan Susel with the pretty much getting the starts at the running back position. So what started out as a promising season for Marvin Kinsey, I think at one point being the leading rusher and receiver, has kind of turned into Susel taking that spot. So we'll see what happens. Your wide receivers, Deshaun Stoudemire, Arlen Bruce, Marlon Cook, Kobe Smith, David Elder, and newly signed Gary Brown. Last I remember Brown, he was somewhere, but most prominently with Duke City a couple seasons ago. I know he got signed somewhere last year, if I'm not mistaken. It didn't necessarily pan out, and it's escaping me, so I'm going to kick myself for that. Junior Tuatasi, Chris Simon, DJ Stuckey, and Ryan Atkins round out that offensive line. Moving over to the defensive side of the ball, Chizzy Umanakwe, Darius Johnson, Karan Bolden, and Mason Newton for that defensive line. Travaris Farrell and Kalen Hicks for the linebacker. One of them will be a linebacker, one will play defensive back. And Bakembe Karmi, Kieran Page, Malik Saunier, Edward McClendon round out that secondary. Your kicker, newly signed Michael Hall. He is pretty much a veteran of this game. I remember he's been with Tulsa last year, if I'm not mistaken. He's been with Tucson and maybe a couple of other teams that escape me. I do not know if he has played the arena, like arena rules or things like that, but I know he's played in the Indoor Football League before. Moving over to the San Diego Strike Force, we got to look at if Nate Davis is getting the start. Rudy Johnson played, I believe, most of the second half, if not all of it, or maybe even 3/4. I can't remember when Davis went out for that injury. I know I just did the recap for it, but yeah, we'll see if Davis does get the start. It looked like he was holding his knee, so we'll see. Rudy Johnson will most likely be the backup jack of all trades. We'll see how it goes. Edward Vander, your running back, and then your wide receivers, Journey Sloan, Dallas Daniels, John Maldonado, Javian Lofton Wilson, and Jalen Sample, newly signed from Minnesota State. He has, I believe, gotten on an NFL practice squad with the Commanders when I was looking up who he was. So a little bit of NFL experience there. Christian Olmstead, Jalen Booth, Josh Castro, and Jake Sines round out that offensive line. On the defensive side of the ball, Wallace Cowens, Jaquez Maben, Panea Moa, Karat Garland, Jackson Cravens, and newly signed former Massachusetts Pirate, Afanya Maye. So there you go, and even more addition to that defensive line. Linebackers Royce C. and Frederick Tompkins. And in your secondary, Draco Statham, Eugene Ford, Atoa Fox, and Elijah Reed. Kicker, as always, has been for this season, Ernesto Lacayo. And that is your 25-man roster from Northern Arizona, your 25-man roster for San Diego. Let's go take a look at our bet and prediction, and we got more previews to do. All right, so bet and prediction time. I'm not good at betting. I mean, I started out really hot, which is amazing, but betting has not been my thing right now. And I feel like for people who watch Seinfeld, I feel like I need to instill the George Costanza opposite theory, and whatever bet I want to take, just completely take the opposite. And if you don't know what that is, go watch Seinfeld. Unless you don't like it, then don't, I guess. But my bet for this one is plus 6.5 for Northern Arizona, because everything in me is saying, well, hey, we don't know what Nate Davis is. I think Northern Arizona has a chance not to win this, but they can stay close. I think they can stay close. They've proven it against Arizona. They've played some close games. They beat Massachusetts. Like, things since Ramon Atkins has been that starting quarterback has instilled quite a bit of direction when it comes to that offensive side of the ball. The defense, they have made some strides. I mean, they look a little bit better. San Diego, though, being able to beat Vegas how they did, I mean, they are 4-4, so I don't know. The defense does look pretty good. They were able to kind of hold Jerome Johnson and Jaden DeLora in check last week, but if it's not plus 6, dare I say maybe over 81.5 for this game too. I think these teams can score points. My prediction for this one, 44-40, and again, some of that might hinge on Davis, but Rudy Johnson was fully capable and able to put a different thing out there that San Diego, you've probably never really seen, of running the ball. And I know Rudy Johnson has started games for San Diego before, but this seemed like a completely different thing. And having the weapons that you did at quarterback, at wide receiver, that if Johnson has a full week of practice as quarterback one to be able to get that timing down with the receivers and things like that, I mean, he has been the Wildcat quarterback all season, so it's not like it's anything new to him. It could be, I mean, it kind of hinges on Davis right there, but I do think Ramon Atkins and company, like I said, in the 25-man roster, I think Nolan Susel is coming along. I know the broadcast said that against Arizona last week. So the wide receivers, Deshaun Stoudemire showing out, David Elder starting to come into his own. I really, really like how Northern Arizona's offense has kind of come along in the last couple of weeks. So I would almost pick over 81.5. I'm leaning plus 6.5. I think Northern Arizona can keep it close with a 44-40 like kind of prediction, and that does give you a little bit of wiggle room if they can keep it under a touchdown. Kind of see. So that's where I have it for this one, plus 6.5 for Northern Arizona. I do think they keep it close, kind of see how they've kept it close against Arizona, and then it's only a 3-point victory for Vegas, for San Diego against Vegas. They had a last-second touchdown that they needed to do. Just kind of some close games there between the two. So that's where I'm going with it, and that's how we have it. So let's go take a look at our second of 3 previews as we roll along. All right, let's start preview number 2, another 8:05 p.m. Central Time kickoff. All of these games start at 8:05 on Saturday, so you get to choose between your different tabs on your computer or whatever you want to channel surf with on the Indoor Football League network, where, hey, this game can be watched amongst all the others. 2-6, San Antonio traveling to 3-4, Tucson to take on the Sugar Skulls. The Gunslingers 1-3 on the road, and the Tucson Sugar Skulls 2-1 at home. Let's take a look at our season leaders for both teams. For the passing side, Joaquin Collazo, 30 of 53, 313 yards, 9 touchdowns, 3 picks. And I'll make a mental note here. That's just his stats with San Antonio. I think in the next preview I do, if he's with San Antonio, I hope he is, I will include his Iowa stats and stuff, so you get a full season leader kind of thing. Jorge Reyna, your leading passer for Tucson, 50 of 98, 591 yards, 12 touchdowns at 6 picks. For the rushing side, Keyshawn Harper, 62 carries, 208 yards, 3 touchdowns. Jorge Reyna leading and rushing for Tucson, 37 carries, 191 yards, 5 touchdowns. And then for the receiving side, Naquan Murray for San Antonio, 34 catches, 466 yards, 11 touchdowns. And Larry Harrington, 20 catches, 182 yards, and 6 touchdowns through the air for him. Taking a look at our injury report, only one addition for San Antonio, Matthew Burrell, which I apologize, I only put 1 L instead of 2. I was typing too fast and kind of forgot, so my apologies. But that's the only addition, but it's just an ever-growing list for San Antonio. 3 guys on season injured reserve, but Tucson kind of knows that as well, as they've had those guys on since March. John McMullen makes his, I believe, second stint on the short-term injured reserve list for Tucson, and that's really the only addition for the Sugar Skulls. Moving over to the game odds, over-under of 95 or 97, 79.5. Golly, I'm dyslexic here. And then -4.5 in favor of Tucson at home. Money line of +150 for the Sugar Skulls, and then -180. Golly, I am all over the place. +150 for the Gunslingers on the road, and -180 for Tucson at home. I feel like I need to repeat that, but I'm not going to. If you need to pause it and look at it, so I don't confuse you. There we go. We are at the Tucson Convention Center in Tucson, Arizona. 8:05 p.m. Central Time kickoff, and our series head-to-head. It is actually the first meeting between these two this season, but these teams met last season, and that is the last time they met. Week 18, San Antonio winning 49-43. They have a 2-0 series advantage as they swept the Sugar Skulls last season. So with that, let's go take a look at our 25-man rosters. Bet and prediction for this one. We got one more preview after this. All right. Taking a look at the 25-man rosters as they pop up over my face, starting with the away side first. Joaquin Collazo will most likely be your starting quarterback, Zach Reeder as the backup. Taking a look, only one running back on the roster, CJ Odom, has been released. Keyshawn Harper is the only one. Wide receivers, Glenn Gibbons, Callie Rashad, Austin Upshaw, Naquan Murray, and new signee Carl Reynolds from Houston Christian, or at least from what I could find. Your offensive line, Quan Stallworth, Joel Galvin, and LaColby Tucker. And that is the offense for San Antonio. It's kind of thin. A lot of wide receivers, not a lot of depth when it comes to the running back or the offensive line. Defensively, Ulrich Jones, Austin Collier, Warren Thomas, Darren Brown, Jack Daly being traded over from Bay Area, and then Michael Anderson. Sorry, Michael Anderson. That is such a common name. There were so many Michael Andersons that I couldn't pick wherever he went to college. So I do apologize for that. Eric Rasco is your linebacker, and in the secondary, Clifton Duck, Christoph Page, Jalen Phelps, Kyle Myers, Mike Miller, and Trenton McGee. Your kicker is Tyler Huddle, and there you have it. Let's take a look at the Tucson side of things. Jorge Reyna, your starting quarterback, Trip Harrington, Larry Harrington, jack of all trades, quarterback, running back, wide receiver, jet sweep guy, whatever you need him to be. Devontae Sapp Lynch and Jameis Williams for the running back position. Williams has been running really well, but Sapp Lynch has been getting in there a couple of times, so we'll see if it's more of a passing of the torch or if they're just kind of sharing duties. Wide receiving core, Jerome Buckner, Drew Dixon, Alfonso Taylor, Braden Oakley, and Kevin Adams. Alfonso Taylor is off of short-term injured reserve, so entering that lineup can bolster that wide receiving core. Offensive line, Kakor Kustinian, Cody Bullock, Q Baker, Dallas Reigns, and Naimonta Decor. So Pretty stacked offensive line right there. On the defensive side of the ball, Jalen Stewart, Taylor Upshaw, Trey Henry, and Ajamin Brooks. Your linebacker is Joshua Clark. And then in the defensive secondary, Tariq Bracy, Brian Murray, Jalen Perkins, Ahmad Lyons, Kendricks Gladney Jr. rounding it out. Now, Gladney Jr. has been playing some linebacker. I think he started the linebacker position the last couple of weeks. We'll see if it's more of the same or if they give Joshua Clark a shot. We'll just kind of see how it goes. Kicker is Kevin Macias, and that is your 25-man roster for San Antonio, 25-man roster for Tucson. With that, let's go take a look at our bet and prediction as we just keep moving along with the previews. All right, bet and prediction time for this one. I'm going to go over 79.5. It's not 97 like I said earlier, but in 79.5. I know San Antonio kind of ran into the buzzsaw that is the Bay Area Panthers last week, but with that, this is not the Bay Area Panthers. And what we saw San Antonio do against San Diego, 7 touchdowns for Collazo, being able to throw the ball around, Naquan Murray doing exactly what he's capable of doing. I do like having that feeling of San Antonio kind of, sticking true to their name of slinging it around. And I think that chemistry is kind of being built with it. I think they have actually found something that they have kind of stuck to, and all the turnover of the roster and the coaches and everything that's kind of gone along with San Antonio, there's just this nice little pocket right now of not consistency, but like comfort or like familiarity of like, hey, this seems kind of good. So I think they're going to kind of sling the ball around, throw it around quite a bit, and Joaquin Collazo is capable of doing that. He proved it a little bit in Iowa as well, albeit there are some bad things that happened too, but if they have that confidence in him there to go out there and do it, he can. On the Tucson side of things, Tucson does have a pretty good defense, and Jorge Reyna and company are going to be able to run the ball, throw the ball, and do what they have to do in order to score points as well. And I think these two teams, when their powers combined, could possibly do that. With that, I do think that, I do think Tucson has the ability to throw the ball on this defense, to run the ball on this defense, and we'll kind of see how it goes if San Antonio's defense can kind of step up to the challenge and stop Tucson. I'm not going to say they're going to run away with it or it's going to be a blowout or anything like that, but these two teams I feel are kind of evenly matched. Their records kind of reflect that, 2-6 versus 3-4. They're both below 500, and I think this could be a good opportunity to see, hey, can one team inch closer to 500 in Tucson, or can another team start trying to dig themselves out and get closer and closer towards a playoff push if they're not already trying to push right now with San Antonio? So my prediction for this one, 46-42. I have San Antonio pulling an upset here. Now, I'm not necessarily ready to pull the trigger and get the San Antonio money line because I don't know yet, but I do like the over 79.5 here, even if it's, if both teams can score 40 points, or if some team can score 35 while the other one scores 49, you still hit it, or whatever the case could be, 45-35, you still hit it by half a point. So I think both teams can do that. I do, either way. So I'm not shocked if Tucson wins. They are the favorite to win it. And I'm not necessarily shocked if San Antonio wins. So go points. That's what we got here. So 46-42 is my prediction with an over of 79.5 for my bet. So with that, let's go take a look at our final preview. We'll get out of here. All right, final preview of the night. Just like the other two, 8:05 p.m. Central Time kickoff on the Indoor Football League Network. We have the 7-1 Arizona Rattlers taking on the 4-4 Vegas Nighthawks. Vegas, we'll kind of see how it goes with them. We got some questions that we have to ask when it comes to this. We'll see how it goes. Let's take a look at our season leaders for both sides. Dalton Snead for Arizona, leading and passing 122 of 201, 1,403 yards, 28 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. They've only played half a season. That's insane. Jerome Johnson leading for Vegas, 64 of 113, 803 yards, 13 touchdowns, 5 picks. Ron Brown leading for rushing, 42 carries, 206 for yards, and 7 touchdowns. Antonio Wimbush for Vegas, leading rusher, 62 carries, 205 yards, and 11 touchdowns. For the receiving leaders, Isaiah Houston, 42 receptions, 562 yards, 10 touchdowns, and Quentin Randolph, 32 catches, 489 yards, and 10 touchdowns through the air. Taking a look at the injury report, there is really nothing to report for either side. Nothing new to add, nothing to take away. Same 4 guys there for Arizona as they have been for like the last week or two. And for Vegas, same guys, same usual suspects. So taking a look at our game odds, we have an over-under of 92.5, so they are expecting some points in this one. And Vegas is favored. I'm not used to seeing a 0 there. It's normally a half a point, but 3-point underdogs at home, so 3-point favorites for Arizona. So there is an opportunity to push in this one. Minus 148 for the Rattlers on the road and plus 124 for Vegas at home if you want those odds. We are in Lee's Family Forum in Henderson, Nevada with an 8:05 p.m. Central Time kickoff, as stated earlier, and our head-to-head 5-3 in favor of Arizona. Our Week 9 meeting just a couple weeks ago, that should read Arizona, but I'm stupid and put Vegas, but that should read Arizona winning this previous meeting 50-47. So, yeah, just a couple weeks ago, nice back and forth, and there is that controversial onside kick. And then, yeah, what can you have? So with that, let's go take a look at our 25-man roster, our bet and prediction. We'll get out of here. All right, let's take a look at the 25-man rosters as they pop up over my face. Starting with the away side first. For Arizona, Dalton Snead, your quarterback, with Hayeve Magale, however you pronounce it. I'm sorry, I butcher it every time. Shannon Brooks and Ron Brown round out the running back position, and for your wide receiving core, Jamal Miles, Isaiah Houston, Jordan Parker, Trey Dixon, and Austin Johnson. Offensive line, Michael Brown, Bryson Mays, Christopher Strotter. Moving over to the defensive side of the ball for Arizona, Kevin Sims, Rashawn Yates, Isaiah Coe, James Nimwaya, and Jalen Bass. Your linebacker, Avaya Lealai Matafeo. I hope I pronounced that correctly. I've been practicing. And then for the secondary for Arizona, Jermaine Dobbs, Devontae Merriweather, Deontay Overstreet, Rashi Hodge, Joe Soe, and Ethan Castleberry. And I hope I pronounced that name correctly too. So if it's not, please correct me. Your kicker is Dawson Evans. And we move on over to the Vegas side of things. Jerome Johnson and Jaden Delora are your quarterbacks. I don't know who's going to start. Jaden Delora kind of took the second half over, or pretty much the second half, when Jerome Johnson got hurt. We'll see. I mean, Delora's started before this season, so I don't think it's anything, too catastrophic if he starts again. Antonio Wimbush is your running back. Wide receivers, Mike Kerrigan, Quentin Randolph, CJ Wyndham, CJ Jefferson, and Phoenix Sproles. Offensive line, Desmond Bland, Zach Fortier, Kevin Toot, and Moses Mallory. To the defensive side of the ball, Maurice Jackson, Claude Davis, Lorenzo Hernandez, Adam Plant Jr., Mayan Ahanitu. The linebacking core, Jamal Williams and Mikel Calhoun. And then for the secondary, Trayvon Jones, James Caesar, Rome Weber, Justin Terry, Darius Williams, and Elijah Blades. Your kicker is Ben Derby, and that is your 25-man roster for Arizona, your 25-man roster for Vegas. So with that, let's go take a look at our bet and prediction, talk a little bit about the game, and we get on out of here. All right, so let's talk bet and prediction for this one. It's a cop-out, but minus 148 for Arizona to the money line. I think for me, a lot of it just hinges on Jerome Johnson starting or not starting. I'm not saying that Jaden Delora can't get the job done, but what they were able to do against Arizona just a couple weeks ago in Arizona, I don't know, that still kind of holds weight to me a little bit. Jaden Delora, like I said, it's not like he can't get the job done, but there's just maybe something a little bit different, more of a running capability. And I know Delora can probably run a little bit, but something about, the agility and shiftiness and whatever with Jerome Johnson being able to juke players out of their shoes and everything that he has been capable of in his MVP form from last year, everything he's been able to do this year. I think a lot of it hinges on that. Arizona has played a lot of close games. That's the reason I'm scared to do any sort of spread right now, is because, well, 3 points is kind of what, that's what the game was a couple weeks ago between these two. So you could push. But are both these teams going to score points? That's the other thing. They did score points against each other. 50-47, that was 97 points. But again, it hinges on Jerome Johnson for me. I think you can go under 92.5 if DeLora gets the start, but you never know. You just never know. Jerome Johnson could be slinging it around. Jaden DeLora could be slinging it around. And we know Arizona is always good for Isaiah Houston coming in clutch with late game touchdowns, as he has been apt to do multiple times throughout this season. I'm not shocked if Vegas wins this game, but I do think Vegas needs to play pretty disciplined, pretty good football, because they just have not seemed like the Vegas of last year, and their record kind of reflects that. They're 4-4. If they get this win, it could springboard them. I'm not sure, but again, I think Arizona they've gone through the injuries, as they do most seasons. They've gone through injuries. They're still winning these close games. They're still coming back. They're still catching onside kicks when there's no challenges left, or whatever the case could be. They're able to win these games. What they've done against Northern Arizona last week, against Vegas, coming back against Green Bay, it's just what Arizona has been able to accomplish, that I'm going with the money line on this one. They're 7-1 for a reason, and even that game, with a walk-off field goal and the lateral touchdown for Tucson, it's only a 7-point loss. It would have been a 1-point loss, and it could have been even a win had things broken different ways. So with that, I know Arizona's just on a tear. So I'm going to go and ride the hot hand, it seems, and that's how we have it. So cop out, sure. But prediction for this one, 49-45. I do think it is a close game, but I, again, am hinging that on Jerome Johnson getting the start. We'll see if he does. If it's Jaden DeLora, it's not necessarily a blowout for me, but it is something where it could be a 14-point win, 10-14 points or something along those lines. So we'll kind of see how that goes. But yeah, I got Arizona minus 148 to the money line and 49-45 when it comes to that prediction. So with that, let's wrap everything up and get out of here. And that is it for our Week 11 Saturday preview. 3 games on tap, all starting at the same time. So, yeah, get your channel clicker ready. If people even put this on their TV, or if they HDMI it from their laptops or Roku box, Google Chrome stream, whatever, I just watch it on my computer. So I can open up multiple tabs and have 3 games going at once, because I don't think the IFL ever promised multi-stream, but, Love Football did on Arena Fan, and I'm forever crushed that we never get it. So whatever works, but multiple tabs it is, just like we had to do years and years ago with YouTube. It's been a long time. But anyway, with that, I'm going to take off here, guys. I love and appreciate every single one of you. As always, if you feel so inclined, like, comment, share, subscribe, all that stuff. If you don't want to, yeah, cool, whatever. But anyway, I'm going to take off here, guys. Edit the video, get it out. Get ready for Saturday. We've had, it's one hell of a game here in Tulsa between Quad City and the Oilers, and then, Green Bay is doing Green Bay things. So what can you do? Anyway, with that being said, I don't want to spoil it, so I'll say it like that. Green Bay doing Green Bay things. With that being said, I'm going to take off here, guys. Love and appreciate every single one of you. With that, see ya.